making something like this. It's sold before I even finish it.
That's good.
And generally because I'm making it because I don't have anything else like it.
Oh.
So
And that's why I'm making it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So people are looking around, they're like, oh yeah, that's the one I like. Well, I know. Because everything else is sold. I like it.
Yeah.
I call my art razor blade carving. I wood burn to begin with. Calling it carving now. You look at that, the little cracks in there are cut in. And you just can't get that kind of crispness. I'll lacquer it twice tonight, and then once right in the morning. And then those 3 lacquers will.
How late do you open here?
Well, like I say, I
sleep
here, I eat here, I wake, and I never move from this spot. I'm not sitting here, I'm sitting 10 feet over there.
Yeah. You're here to stay for the duration.
I cut these trees down in Idaho and Utah.
Okay.
So I just go find a tree right in someone's yard and ask them if I can have it. So
they're all dead.
They usually tell me yes, because it's usually half dead. Now, have you folks seen the outside walls? I got art on the outsides as well. Hopefully I don't have dead trees. If I do,
Call the sculpture. Right here.
I'll just pull out my chainsaw.
Yeah.
Look at my still eagle here.
This guy, you know what he uses on this? It's a 6-inch.
How long have you been doing this?
Roughly 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. My parents were artists, painting and doing woodworking, so I grew up in all this as a background. These little tips are nichrome wire.
Nichrome?
Yeah. I use them in crafts for craft stores. To cut foam. Big blocks of foam.
Oh.
So a huge wire is 6 feet long. They can get it red hot and pull it down through the foam.
Pull it through a foam line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hammers right down, and so it stays red hot, stays super hard.
Wow, wait.
So I can push it right through the wood. I know some wood burners that are really good, but they haven't figured out how to paint yet. So I've always been a step ahead of the game.
Yeah.
After a little while, you decide to make your own tips. After $35 a pop.
Right. Right.
So I mean, the wildlife, the woodworking, it was all second nature. And
Because you grew up there in the nature.
That's how most people get a start in a business somewhere. They grew up around something.
Right.
So that's where mine is. I grew up around pretty much all of this, but the carving and burning style was, I pretty much had to develop my. And of course, the painters, they can't get the depth like I can get it.
Right.
And that depth is really what brings art alive.
That's what really brings it out.
Yeah, let me.
Where did
flip
you?
this on.
All right.
I got some.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Idaho.
Idaho.
So I mean, I grew up camping and fishing, and almost every weekend. So playing, I was out in nature. Back at home, my parents were all doing wildlife art.
Right.
Now I've learned to not burn so much because I am going to come back and paint it.
And it won't stick to the charcoal.
It saves a ton of time, big time.
Gotcha.
To be able
just to market. Do you do art shows? Like, how many art shows do you do a year? I remember last year you told me.
I do roughly 6 to 10.
6 to 10?
Yeah.
One a month? Every couple months?
A lot of the shows are bigger shows. I mean, this is the biggest show.
Yeah.
I mean...
Most of them are small art shows.
The state fairs are really huge. Those would actually be the biggest.
Gotcha.
Like Kansas State Fair, Utah State Fair.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the biggest shows. But they're a fair. It's not an art show. The biggest art show I've done would be the Sculpture Invitational in Loveland, Colorado. Insane amount of sculptures from all over the world.
Wow.
Barely skimped into it because my art's kind of sculpting the wood. So they let me in a sculpture show.
Oh, wow.
I can get in art or shows for functional art because I can make tables as these. It's functional.
Right.
Whereas painters can't do that.
An oil pencil or?
Prisma color pencil.
Prisma.
It's just a fine art pencil.
Okay. Just gets the color and the
This is a base on here. I come back with greens and grays. But you can already see the vibrance.
Right, yeah.
You know, it comes right alive with just white.
Sure does.
Another base here, green. And at this layer, I just throw it on. It doesn't even matter. There's half the trees anyway.
There you
That's
go.
half the painting anyway.
Half the painting.
Come back with some black and some other darker greens and throw it in there just to give it a few different colors.
Right, the end.
Come back with white paint and do some touch-ups on everything, and that white, really
Makes it
bright white.
Makes it stand out.
Yeah, this is
just a
almost
base
a gray.
white,
This
right?
is a gray that's kind of underneath the white.
Right.
When you come back with white, then you have a really good two-tone white.
Right. Do you paint with these pencils? Do you paint with oils or?
Paint. I come in with almost white, and then the super lightest blue and darker blue, and you come down to, you mix in some blacks and some dark blues.
Right.
Of course, I don't have a sky reflecting it because I just use wood.
Right.
If it was there, that's how it would look.
Yeah.
Or actually, the Facebook is R. Wayne Waddoups.
R. Wayne
in
Waddoups.
Facebook, and it shows up.
And
when you know who you are, when you know that you're a son
yeah.
of our Father in heaven,
Uh-huh.
you have an ability that is godly, because you're more or less part God.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you realize what can be done, and it's limitless. The artist's mind. Artists see things any way they want to. I can look in the dirt, and you can tell me, oh, find a giraffe. The dots are there. I'll just connect the dots and outline it. It's that way with all of life. If you want it, it's there.
You gotta ask God for it.
You gotta think it and imagine it. You know, God gives us stuff that's good for us too. And if we really want to fight for things that aren't good for us, then we can get those things too. And we'll learn that we should have maybe followed what's naturally given to us and naturally good for us. That's the things that God gives us. You know, infinite are the possibilities. You know, you gotta have wisdom with that too. You gotta stay in your sphere of understanding. You can't do everything. You have to choose certain things.
Yeah.
That's where the wisdom comes in. We only have so much life. You'll never see the whole world.
That's exactly it. You've only got 50 years or so, really, you know.
Yeah.